Do you know that more than 80% of the Indian organization are facing a leadership crisis? Just because that most of their senior leaders are either retiring, or it is because that the younger generation is not sticking to one job or one company and they change after 1 or 2 years very frequently. So if you ask a CHRO or a CEO, what is your number one challenge? You will hear that they are short of leaders and they really want to build a future leadership pipeline. And they are left with only two options: either build in the talent or buy out from the market. Either way, they are going to have one common situation, that is to build a strong pipeline of leaders. Because when they build in, that means they have to plan and develop their leaders within by investing on their training and a lot of leadership development program for next 2 to 3 years. Or when they go for buyout, which is an expensive affair, they really have to search the right talent, as long as they have the right talent assessment capabilities. Because even if one wrong leader walks in, the whole organization can disturb. So with this challenge, what is emerging is that the talent hiring for the leaders is changing drastically. Now let's look at some of the roles of the leaders which has not changed even today. That is, how do they adapt? How do they connect with people? How do they build their self-awareness? That is going to be there. But what is changing drastically is that today you need leaders who can create disruptive envisioning, who can have multi-dimensional sense making, who can have lot of connectivity with respect to different diversity of people within the organization, who believe in institutional building, who believe in creating one organization by understanding the values, vision, and the mission of the organization. And most importantly, they should have the magnetism to attract talent. This is what is changing in today's world with AI, digital technologies which are emerging very fast beyond our even imagination, making this role totally different. And more so when we look at the Indian context, the complexity of business is even higher. And getting all these skills in one person is going to be very difficult and not easy. And that's why it is important that if you are watching this video now, you should be thinking about that how I'm going to prepare for my next interview when I go to the organization, and what is that they are looking at, not the traditional job description, not the traditional education qualification, but how you look at things from disruptive envisioning to a magnetism of attracting talent towards you, and also how do you build the institution together. If you go with this mindset, I can promise that you will have not just a brighter chance to clear the interview, but also becoming the core part of the leadership of the organization. Well friends, my name is Arun. I'm a life and a leadership coach, and in this video you are going to learn about the most important leadership hiring trends that are happening, and you should be watchful that what you need to really prepare for when you go for your next interview round. The first trend that is emerging is it is shifting from a role-based hiring to a skill-based hiring. Let me tell you friends, a lot of us, when we apply for any role, the first thing that we ask for is a job description, and that is right. Because in a job description, you get to know what the company is looking for, what is the job title, what are the minimum required qualifications and requirements to become eligible for that role. But now, you have to think beyond, because it is going to be purely on competency based. So for example, if one of the competency or one of the requirement is to bring change in the organization or be a change leader, you are going to definitely get a question that what kind of change that you have brought in the last role that you have, and what was the impact of it. So it's not about your education qualifications or your previous kind of designations that you have worked. Let's say you have worked as a vice president. It is immaterial. What is most important is, do you bring the right skill set which are relevant for the role for today and also for the future. So gone are the days that you are going to be evaluated just mere by the virtue of your designation, but what value you bring on the table to the organization for building the entire institution and leading the team together upwards. So think, what is transitioning is from a role-based to a skill-based model. That's where you are getting assessed. The second trend that is emerging in the new leadership hiring is there is no cost barrier. That means the executive compensation can always be on a higher side. As cost is not a bar, you will find that the organizations are ready to pay even more and beyond what they have planned for in spite of economic slowdown. And now, as a leader, you have to really look at the entire offering from the organization is not with respect to what is the fixed pay that you are going to get, but most importantly, the bonus, the ESOPs and long-term rewards that are associated with the role that is being offered. Now, what does it mean? It simply means that you have to look at the organization for 3 to 5 years and beyond point of time, and that's how your compensation is going to be linked as per the value that you bring on the table. Which also means that today the organizations are offering benefits like work flexibility, wellness programs, and relocation allowances so that you are not disturbed, because post-COVID, everybody understands one of the important skills is to manage team virtually is going to be the decider for a leader. So location is no more a problem. What is important is that how do you manage your team towards a common vision? And that's why they are ready to pay upfront. So if you are at a senior leadership role and you're looking for a growth, cost or salary is not a problem. But what is important is you have to look at it as a whole package together. The third important trend that is emerging is that a lot of CHROs and CEOs are now focused on diversity and inclusive leadership. I remember there was some time back that a lot of hiring was focused towards women leaders because diversity simply used to be that how many females that you have in the leadership team or in the overall organization. But now it is not just limited to the diversity with respect to females, but diversity with respect to experience, age, and different experiences from different organizations. And not only that, the organizations have realized that if they want to be successful, inclusion is equally important. That means they are not just worried about or they are not looking forward just to achieve their diversity targets, but they are trying now very hard to have that inclusivity in making decisions so that the organization can move to the next level. Now, what's in it for you? What's in it for you is that you might find that somebody is walking to your office from altogether a different industry like insurance if you are in pharmaceuticals. Or for example, you are into an FMCG and you see that somebody is coming from altogether a new industry. And I'm sure as I'm speaking, this is already happening. So what does it mean? It opens more gates to you that if you have that ability and agility as a leader, as I said, if you can bring that kind of a big vision, if you can create that disruptive vision which can make things in a different way, you can be called on to deliver results in any organization board which you have not even thought of before. So this is a new leadership trend that is emerging now very rapidly. The next disruption or the next leadership trend that is emerging is the digital transformation and the role of AI. I'm sure as I'm talking, there is some new AI tool which is getting developed, which is trying to solve some problem which is repetitive. Now, if you are a leader and you say that I don't know what AI is, I only know how to motivate people, how to inspire people, and how do I work with passion, then you are a person from the past era. What is today's era is you have to accept the chat GPTs of the world. You have to align with innovation and creativity with respect to the digital transformation. Let me add further. If you say that I only know how to post on LinkedIn or social media like Instagram, it's not going to work, because the new generation which is coming, they are looking up to you that you have to lead them and you have to understand their language. So what is my recommendation is go and get yourself certified on the latest AI courses, because that's the future. And leaders who know what is AI, those who know what is digitalization of the world is happening, they are the future leader and they are in demand, not the one who just inspire, motivate and create a lot of noise in the market. The fifth and one of the very crucial leadership hiring trend that is emerging is having premium personalized executive search firms the organization are empaneling. These days, what is very important is the organizations are looking for very exclusive candidates. Generally, we call them passive candidates. And these organizations, these executive search firms, work very closely in doing the profiling and building their network with those passive candidates who are not actively looking. But at the same time, if you are a leader and if you are not doing that networking and connect with these executive firms, then I'm sure you are missing a big thing, because you don't know that which executive firm is linked to which organization and working very closely behind the bars. And that's what is changing a lot. Just thinking that you are a great leader, somebody will find you, is not necessary. It used to be. But now what is happening is that organizations are deputing personalized executive search firms to get the right leader, to vet it completely through the ref checks, through the performance background checks, and most importantly, their presence on social media at different angles, how they have been rated. So it's all happening. If you are reading these signals very, very clearly, I'm sure you are in touch with at least 2 to 3 recruitment firms which are just beyond the traditional ones. And that is what is changing in leadership hiring. The next leadership hiring trend which is emerging is a lot of customer profiling and market intelligence reporting. These days, a lot of executive search firms are mapping the potential leaders, as I mentioned in my previous point, that they are doing a detailed profiling for the candidates, even if they are either open to market or even before a position is open into the market. This is a continuous process that a lot of executive search firms, including my firm, which is HCN, we are doing the same thing. We are extensively profiling people and the future leaders of the organizations. In that, we are just simply asking them what kind of their work profile has been beyond what they have mentioned on LinkedIn. What are their core interests? What kind of teams that they want to lead? Do they have a P&L responsibility? How many new certifications or upgradations they have done in terms of their skill sets? And we have a scoring system. So imagine if we are doing like this, I'm sure there are many more organizations are already doing this presently, and including use of AI in mapping and understanding the profile of potential leaders. So if you are not updating and upgrading yourself like this, you will never come into the right profiling scores for the relevant organizations. And this is already a trend which is emerging and catching up very fast. So it's time not just to build up your LinkedIn or understand what your profile is, but also to upgrade with the changing and emerging trends which are coming very rapidly on you. The next trend that is emerging is the demand of specialized knowledge and industry expertise. Companies are not just looking for people with general skills, but they are looking for specialized skills. Let's say there is a tech leader who is highly competent in AI skills. He will be definitely preferred over just a plain guy who has just skills. If you are working in any specialty in a healthcare, if you know that you are a critical care or you're an oncology specialist, that is what is preferred, because the future is going towards that direction. So if you have that niche, if you have that expertise in one particular domain, people would like to have that, because the entire gamut of work is moving towards specialization than generalization. Because the more specialized you become, the more you are getting paid and the more you are in demand. Because a lot of people can do a generalized job, whereas only few can do a specialized job. So how you are shaping your own profile, own work scenario from a generalized style to a specialized style can create a sea change, both in terms of your compensation and your credibility in the marketplace. So see where you are right now and how much more specialized you can become over the years, in the last 3 years. If you have not thought about it, plan now that what is my niche, what is my specialty that I would like to be in the next 3 years. Go for certifications, go for industry talks, be in that place where you want to be, and you will see people will start looking up to you and searching you to get in their organization, because you will have the advanced skills, specialized skills to meet those requirements. The next leadership hiring trend that is emerging very strongly is data-driven intelligence reports. Now, in very simple words, these are also called as psychometric assessment reports, like Hogan, Thomas, Gallup. They have become an integral part of every organization leadership hiring. because the organizations are not thinking just limited to the resume, but they also want to see the psyche of a person in terms of adaptability, fitting to the culture, looking forward that how that person is having that empathy, able to connect with people, or the person is very volatile, very excitable, or is highly power driven. Now these tools have become the integral part of every leadership hiring. In fact, it has gone to the lower level also, that organization doesn't want to take any mistake when they want to hire. And let me tell you, this is not just limited only for the hiring purpose. It is also meant to build a developmental plan for the individual, for the longevity of their job as they progress in their career and in their role. So when an organization does this kind of competency assessment through psychometric tools, they take it, what are the developmental needs and the programs they need to engage a particular leader over a period of 3 to 5 years. So it is not just now your impression management that will help you to get a job just because somebody has recommended you. You really have to pass these kind of assessments, which will actually sense your real capability, whether you deserve to be on that role, on that seat or not. Another trend that is preference for hiring creative and resourceful executive is catching up very fast. Earlier it used to be like a nice to have important competency, but now it is a must have competencies. Organizations are not looking for people who do the work in a very traditional way. They really want people to come up with some innovative technologies, innovative thought process, and being little more creative in ensuring that they bring newness to the system. So how creative you have been in your current role, what kind of new things that you have been able to start is going to be one of the most sought after leadership skill that you need to exhibit in your current role so that you can get future role. Because doing same things and expecting different results is insanity. So how do you bring that creativity from where? It can only happen when you are able to build more network, going beyond your traditional network, which is generally from the past and from the same group. So go out, meet people from different industries, spend time with them, understand how do they do business, and then try to imbibe some of their practices into your business. That will bring a lot of creativity, and creativity actually starts emerging from curiosity. So how curious you are, and curiosity helps in thinking newer questions. And when you think of questions, you start thinking little deeper. Now, why I said all this? Because in the beginning I mentioned that how do you create a diversity thinking or a high thinking that can create a lot of sense out of different diverse options in front of you. So people with this creative mindset, resourcefulness are the sought after people in the future of work who can meet the future of work demand. Now, just to wrap up, I'm sure you would have got a lot of insights about how the new emerging trends for hiring leaders is changing very rapidly. And no doubt the technology is making a lot of inroads in our decision making, in our day-to-day practice to enhance our business capabilities. But at the same time, a leader with adaptability to change, empathy, and high emotional intelligence are the one who can balance both of them very effectively, are the preferred one. So what I'm going to tell you is that how do you challenge your primitive way of thinking, traditional way of thinking, or an old way of thinking and doing is not going to work. Because not just that the future of work is changing, but the future generation which is coming to work, they are going to ask a lot of questions. And if you are not prepared, either you will be thrown away or you will become obsolete in the marketplace. And you know what happens when you become obsolete? Nobody is going to hire you, pay you, retain you, or even promote you. So what are you going to do about it? Just think how it makes sense to you. What is the first step that you need to do in the next 3 years? What's your plan? Set your goals and start working towards it. And I promise you're gonna achieve a lot bigger, lot better, and create a bright future for yourself. Thanks a lot for watching this video. And if you find the content is engaging, useful to you, matching your current requirement, just drop in a comment below and share your thoughts. Thanks a lot for watching.